So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. iPhone 12 mini versus iPhone 12 versus 12 Pro versus 12 Pro Max. In this episode, we're going to help you decide which one to pick up, which one to buy from a user has used every single one of these already. And I'll tell you what's similar about these. All four of these phones have 5G. They all have OLED displays. They all have basically the same main sensor on their cameras. These do have triple cameras. The 12 Pro and the Pro Max also has that triple camera there, but they all have that same main basic sensor. They all have basically the same front-facing camera and the same wide-angle camera. All of these do have A14 ceramic shield glass, which should give them 4 times drop protection over the prior iPhones. You also do have iOS 14 on all of them, and that's where the similarities end, but they're all pretty similar phones, just different sizes. So with size being the topic, let's talk about which one to choose in size. Now, the 5.8-inch iPhone is gone. So if you do want a smaller iPhone, one that's just super portable, that's going to be the iPhone 12 mini. And I don't mean like, do you want a portable, easy to use day-to-day iPhone? The 12 is fine. I mean ultra compact, like one hand, one thumb use, like, you can't even feel it in your pocket sometimes. That's the iPhone 12 mini. This is like back to the iPhone SE size days. And for some people, they're going to love that. But to me, I still think this is a little bit of a niche crowd who's going to really like this, those small phone lovers. But at the same time, if you want that portability, the pocketability, the small one-handed use, that's the 12 mini, but you are trading off battery life big time on that one. We'll talk about that later. If you want a good size, but not a massive size, and you want a lightweight feel, the 12 still hits that mark. The iPhone 12 is not a heavy phone. It's actually quite light because it uses aluminum, and it doesn't feel like, it feels like lighter than the XR and the iPhone 11, but it also has a 6.1-inch display. So you have a good size screen. Some people would say that's a large screen. To me, compared to the 12 Pro Max, compared to 6.5-inch Android phones, this is actually a good size. It's pretty balanced. It's a little bit bigger than the 5.8-inch, but it's a pretty good size. And if you want a good balance of size and weight, the iPhone 12 is where it's at. And for the iPhone 12 Pro, because it adds more weight, it's not as comfortable as the 12, but it still feels like it has more heft, more premium feel to it. But for me, if you care more about, lightweight portability and you still want a premium feeling iPhone, the 12 has got this phone beat because it's cheaper, and you really have to take advantage of that third camera for this to really be worth that extra money. Now, the Pro Max, you already know if it's for you. If you're the person who loves big phones, you've been buying big phones for a while now, you've always wanted the largest phone you can get. The iPhone 12 Pro Max is the largest iPhone ever made by Apple. You're going to love this one, but keep in mind that it is a very wide and tall phone, and because of the squared edges, it can feel a little bit cumbersome from time to time, and it's extremely heavy for a phone. This thing's like 230 grams, so it's up there in the weight. I mean, there's heavier phones out there, but for an iPhone, this is pretty heavy right here in the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Now, when it comes to build quality, buy the 12 Pro series if you want a sturdier, more premium stainless steel material. However, you do get fingerprints all over the edges of these as well, though. But you do have this nice back that kind of feels like an etched glass. It doesn't attract fingerprints on the back. It's just the sides, the square sides attract fingerprints. And the silver and gold models of these phones will show it more because they're lighter colors. So do keep in mind that when you are picking these up. But I think for the highest build quality, you do want to pick up the Pro or Pro Max. But that's not to say that the iPhone 12 is not sturdy. It is sturdy. And if you want to save money but still want a pretty premium feel, you're going to go for the 12 mini or the 12. Now keep in mind the Apple Watch does this too, where it has an aluminum shell, or you can get a stainless steel Apple Watch. It's pretty much the same thing here. You just have to decide which suits you better. But I do think the trade-off of lightweight with the aluminum makes the iPhone 12 and 12 mini just feel easier to live with day to day, just because they don't get as dirty on the sides, and they're just practical. They just feel good to rock out and about, where these two feel heavy and premium, but at the same time, for me, a phone shouldn't feel too heavy. That's just my personal take. But like, if you like the trade-offs, like having that different glass material on the back, the extra camera, the stainless steel sides, you're probably not going to care whatsoever about that. Okay, so when talking about display, it's down to this. It's down to, do you want more brightness? You got to get the Pro series phones. These phones have 800 nits. They're brighter than the 625 on these two. It's not that noticeable unless you put them side by side. None of these phones actually employ 120 hertz, so every one of these phones feels just as smooth as each other, whether you're using the 12 mini, the iPhone 12 Pro, the 12, or the 12 Pro Max. They all feel just as smooth as one another. The iPhone 12 mini has been having lock screen touch sensitivity issues as of right now. Hopefully there's an update by the time you see this video and that will be fixed. But when it comes to the actual display size, if you're going to be doing a lot of media, of course, you're going to want to pick up the iPhone 12 Pro Max. And I mean, you watch YouTube videos all night. You're reading all day. You're on your phone constantly. You're doing business transactions on your phone. You're doing a lot of stuff on your phone screen. I think you're going to appreciate the 12 Pro Max the most. If you're constantly active person, you're on the about, you don't want to be fumbling with a lot of stuff in your pockets, and you just want to make things really simple day to day, and you want things small and light, you're going to love the 12 mini. This thing will blend in perfectly. And if you're not constantly on your screen a lot and you're trying to reduce your screen time, having something smaller like the 12 mini can help you accomplish that mission. But you do trade battery life. Now, if you just don't care for having these extremes, like that's way too small, that's way too large, this phone will suffice. The iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Pro, both of these will suffice. And if you want that extra brightness, go for the 12 Pro. So all these displays being OLED, they're all very good. They're not overly vibrant OLEDs like the ones you'll find on Samsung phones, but all of them do have very good color on them. The 12 mini does have the sharpest PPI, so when you are reading text and stuff on the iPhone 12 mini, the text is the sharpest, but it's hard to tell because the screen is so small that you don't really pick up on that stuff. And I think that the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro just strike a really good balance between these two phones over here on the opposite ends of the extreme. Also, if you're going to be doing video rendering and editing, I think the Pro Max is the one to pick. Because when you're creating a project and you're trying to scrub through the timeline, you're trying to cut things up, you're trying to edit photos, having that space to work on the display definitely lends to me recommending the Pro Max for stuff like that. And as you can see, when it comes to software, they are all identical. iOS 14 on every single one of these phones, and all going to be updated for about the same amount of time. So, you know, Apple making a similar phone on all of these makes it pretty easy, and having A14 makes it pretty easy for them to continue support on all of these. The only major difference you're going to see is the cameras for the iPhone 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Max. The 12 Pro Max has 2.5x. This one has 2x. On these phones over here for the iPhone 12 mini and the iPhone 12, these phones over here don't give you that zoom camera. You can see just 1x, but they do give you the wide angle. And the HDR quality, actually, you can do HDR video in 4K 60 on the iPhone 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Max. So these phones will give you a little bit better video performance on the day-to-day. So I do recommend picking up the 12 Pro and Pro Max if you guys are seriously into video. I mean, like professional level, not just I need a good camera on my phone, because all of these will do that, even beyond better than most of the older phones out there. Now, when it comes to performance, every single one of these phones are identical. They all literally perform exactly the same. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Everything runs smooth on all of these. The only thing is, I said that before, the lock screen touchscreen issues on the 12 mini is still a problem right now. Hopefully that gets fixed in software. But when in the phones, all of them very fast to respond. They're all A14 5nm chipsets. And honestly, these phones have more power than most users are going to know what to do with. I will state that the 6 gigs of RAM on the Pro models do give it the ability to hold more applications in the background though. So if you find yourself needing to multitask a lot, and I mean a lot, like running a business, multitasking, ton of things, maybe at school, multitasking a lot of things, you know, these are going to be the phones for you. Maybe editing and then uploading on YouTube. These are going to be the phones for you in the Pros. Okay, and let's talk about battery life. This one is actually quite easy. These two in the middle are okay. They can get you through most of your day. If you're using the cameras hard, you might actually kill the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro, you know, around 7, 8 o'clock at night. The iPhone 12 mini, if you're using that phone hard, this thing is definitely not making it today. This has the smallest battery. It's just physics. I mean, the phone is smaller. They can't cram a battery the size they can in this phone with all that other technology It's just not happening as of this current time where we're at in technology. So you are sacrificing for that size to get the worst battery life on the iPhone 12 mini. But when I say worst, if you're using it light to medium, and I don't know if you have a screen this small, why would you want to be on the phone all day? Isn't the point of having a screen this small is to just kind of make it practical, use the apps you need, and then get out of there and put it in your pocket? If not, if you're going to be on your phone a lot, stay away from the mini. Go with the Max if you want the most battery life. Go with the 12 or 12 Pro if you guys do want a pretty decent balance. I mean, there's still Android phones that are better than both of these on battery life. But one thing where these all shine is standby time. Each and every one of these iPhones do very well in the standby. And when it comes to audio quality, there's one winner here.
A few times holding it, either put it in a case or you know what,
the iPhone 12 Pro Max has the loudest speakers here. All of them do sound good though. None of them are going to let you down. They all have pretty crisp highs, pretty good mids, and most of them don't really have any tinny sound to them. So they all sound very good. The mini to me sounds the weakest in terms of like loudness. I think the 12 Pro Max sounds louder than that phone, but none of these are going to disappoint you there. So when it comes to audio quality, don't even fret. You're going to be fine on any of them. They all sound very good. And which one should you buy in terms of camera? So I got this little Tesla toy car right here. So with the 12 mini, if you want a portable pocketable camera and you want it to be very good, this one has flagship grade camera. Just pick up the 12 mini. It'll do the job, and it's going to do it better than a lot of older iPhones as well. The iPhone 12 giving you that same camera as the 12 mini, but more space to play around with that screen being a little bit bigger. And the iPhone 12 also, with all these, you can change the exposures. You can do this on all of them. You can change the aspect ratio. This is why I'm saying all of these can do professional work. So at the same time, you can change video settings in here on all of them. So iPhone 12 going to be good if you just need your wide angle in your main camera. Same goes for that 12 mini. If you just need your main camera and your wide angle, you'll be fine. Now, if you do find yourself into zooming a lot, you're going to want the 12 Pro. If you want to zoom and you want it in a compact shell, this one can go 10x, just like the previous 11 Pro. And if you find yourself needing HDR video at the 60 FPS, you really want to push your video game to the next level, and you don't want to do it in a massive phone, the Pro is for you. But again, I really stress you guys gotta want to use this stuff, because if you don't, you're kind of just paying for something you don't need, unless you just want that body and the look of the 11 Pro and it's just an extra to have that. But you can see 2.5x, and this is for the first time on an iPhone can go up to 12x on the zoom. So very far zoom. Not sure you'll need that right now, as we're staying home more often right now. But if you need that extra zoom, it can do it. And then for the 12 Pro Max, because you have such a large canvas, it's very fun to take photos with this because you can see and frame everything very easily. Also the 4K, 30, 60, all of it is in HDR here for the Pro Max, and great stabilization. If camera and videography is something you care about, but you also want a good price, you're not sacrificing a lot. Really, you're not. Getting the 12 mini and getting the 12. The only way you're sacrificing is if you are yourself a telephoto photographer. So if you use a telephoto camera a lot where you're zooming a lot, you are going to be sacrificing. But other than that, the iPhone 12 and 12 mini are basically the same. Phone call quality and connectivity, Qualcomm in here, 5G on these boys, they're all been good. All of them have been good. Let me get this Tesla car out of here. They've all been good here on these phones. Better than before. Good reception. It holds a lot of signal strength. Very happy here. So you're not going to be let down there. And they all have 5G for the future of iPhone. So when it comes to storage, the best storage value comes in the way of the iPhone 12. I feel like the 128 gig iPhone 12 is $849. That's a good balance of price and all this performance and all this feature set. Yeah, it's a little bit more than the iPhone 11 was, but I think in terms of getting the most storage for the money, it's the $849 iPhone 12. That's just my personal opinion on that one. Let me know which one you think is the best storage value. In conclusion, which one is my favorite amongst these, and which one do I think most people will just really like all around, think it's good value, really love the phone? To me, that's the regular iPhone 12. The reason why is the iPhone 12 is not sacrificing on screen size. It's not too small. It's not too large. It's not massive, but it's not small either. It's also not heavier like the iPhone XR and the iPhone 11 was. It does have an OLED, unlike the 10R and the 11. This one feels like the one that has the most upgrades over the past iterations is the iPhone 12. So I think this is the one that represents the best all-around value of the entire iPhone 12 lineup. The rest of them feel kind of niche. The iPhone 12 mini is niche to the people who love small phones. For me, I think a lot of people are still going to buy this phone just because it's different. People always want the different thing. Look how small this phone is. It's just tiny. You got to back it out to see that. But the iPhone 12 mini, just being tiny, it's a very interesting piece of technology. So I do think a lot of people are going to buy that phone, but I don't think it's the best all-around value because the price is pretty close to the 12. Next up, the iPhone 12 Pro. This is another niche phone because I feel like you got to really want those cameras to pay, $300 more than an iPhone. You got to really want those cameras to pay that extra money to get basically the same phone as the iPhone 12. So it feels like it's almost the same, just a little bit more premium, just a little bit. So yeah, I think this is going to appeal to a certain set of users. And then the 12 Pro Max does have a large user base, I think, because a lot of people love massive phones. I really wish Apple would have made an iPhone 12 with the aluminum sides and a Max size like an iPhone 12 Plus and then kept this Pro Max next to the Pro series. Yeah, it would have been an extra iPhone along with all these other iPhones. But at the same time, offering it at a cheaper price and having the aluminum would have made it lighter weight, and it would have been pretty decent. Even if it was like 6.5 inches instead of the 6.7 on the Pro Max, that would be a nice little touch to have a cheaper, bigger iPhone next to the iPhone 12. So I think the 12 Pro Max definitely appeals to a lot of users as well who want the most they can get out of their iPhone. So if you do want the best all-around big screen iPhone, you definitely want to get that 12 Pro Max. So that's it for me. I hope this guide helped you decide which phone is going to be for you. Hopefully some things resonated with you here and you were like, yep, now I know exactly what iPhone 12 I'm going with. That was the point of making this video. And be subscribed and stay tuned for more content on these devices. They're all very similar. I think it's really down to size this year. You really just got to pick the phone that best suits your budget and the size that you're most comfortable using, because that's really where it's at here in 2020 with the iPhone 12 lineup. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. I will catch you all in the very next episode. Be sure to be well and peace.